A grease-stained mechanic and a billionaire heiress fall in love over an engine that refuses to lie. The grease-stained mechanic and the heiress who risked everything to love her. The car rolled into the bay like a shark gliding into shallow water. Silent, expensive, dangerous. Rhea wiped her hands on a rag that had seen better decades and let out a low whistle. Midnight pearl paint, carbon ceramic brakes, custom-stitched interior. It wasn't just a car, it was a confession of money. The woman behind the wheel shut off the engine, and the rumble died, leaving only the distant buzz of the freeway and the shop radio murmuring classic rock. She stepped out, and for a second, Rhea forgot there was a car at all. Long, dark hair twisted into a clean knot. A white silk blouse that didn't belong anywhere near oil stains. Tailored trousers. High-end perfume that somehow cut through the scent of gasoline and rubber. "I was told you're the one to see," the woman said. Her voice was polished, the kind that grew up learning not to apologize for taking up space. Rhea cocked a brow. "Depends what you want. If you're here for a latte, the machine's broken. If you're here because someone abused this poor machine, then yeah, I'm the one." A tiny smile tugged at the woman's lips. Isabelle Laurent. The name made Rhea's brain do a double take. Laurent, as in Laurent Group. Real estate, tech, half the waterfront. The kind of name that bought city blocks for breakfast. "Rhea Martinez," she replied. "And what did this poor thing ever do to you?" Isabelle glanced back at the car. "She's been neglected." Figures. Rhea moved closer, eyes scanning the bodywork, the wheels, listening with her hands as much as her ears. Most people buy cars like this to park them and brag. Engines don't like being decorative. Isabelle watched her carefully. "Can you fix her?" Rhea snorted. "If it has wheels and a heart, I can make it breathe again." Something in Isabelle's posture relaxed, just a fraction. "Good. Then maybe you can fix my mistake." "Which one?" Rhea traced a finger along a hairline crack in the carbon lip. "Bringing her to the wrong shop or not driving her enough?" Isabelle hesitated. "Bringing her here might be the first right thing I've done in a while." Rhea looked up at her, curiosity pricking under her skin. This wasn't her world. Old money, boardrooms, champagne problems. But engines never lied. They told you exactly what they needed. People were messier, and yet she still heard herself say, "Leave her with me. I'll call when I know how bad it is." Isabelle's gaze lingered, steady and too direct. "Thank you, Rhea." Rhea shrugged, suddenly aware of the grease under her nails. "Don't thank me yet. She might hate you for how you've treated her." "For the record," Isabelle said quietly, "so do most people." Then she turned and walked toward the streetlight glow, leaving Rhea with the car, the faint scent of expensive perfume, and a question she hadn't meant to invite. The shop was different at night. Daytime meant customers and noise and Marco yelling into phones. Night was for engines and secrets. Rhea preferred the latter. She circled the Laurent car with a flashlight, cataloging sins. Uneven tire wear, micro cracks in the suspension components, a faint tick in the engine that shouldn't be there. "Who did this to you?" she muttered. The engine didn't answer, but its silence was its own accusation. She popped the hood and the world narrowed. Hoses, wiring looms, polished intake manifolds. Beneath all the gleam, someone had cut corners, inferior parts where premium should be. A tune that chased numbers but ignored stability. Rich girl bought a monster and let idiots touch it, Rhea sighed. Of course. Her phone buzzed on the tool cart. Unknown number. She considered ignoring it, then wiped her hand and answered. "Yeah? Did you find out how bad it is?" Isabelle's voice slid through the line, unexpectedly intimate in the quiet shop. Rhea leaned her hip against the fender. "First update's free. After that, I charge for emotional damage." A soft exhale that might have been a laugh. Should I be bracing myself? Someone tuned her like they were trying to win drag races on social media. Wrong plugs, wrong heat range, wrong everything. If I push her hard to test, she'll throw a tantrum and probably a rod. "Translation?" Isabelle asked. "Translation. She's a ticking bomb wearing lipstick." Silence hummed between them. "Can you fix it?" Isabelle said, more subdued. "If I strip all the bad decisions off her, yeah, it'll take time." Rhea hesitated. "And it'll be expensive." "I didn't ask about the cost," Isabelle said. "I asked if you could fix it." Rhea frowned. You're used to people saying yes to you, aren't you? I'm used to people saying what they think I want to hear, Isabelle replied. You seem immune to that. That's because your money doesn't make bolts torque themselves, Rhea said. Metal doesn't care who signs the check. Another pause. Do you? Do I what? Care who signs the check. Rhea looked around at the patched drywall, the mismatched lifts, the aging compressor that shook like it had asthma. I care that it clears. That's about it. Isabelle's voice dropped. Then do what she needs, Rhea. No shortcuts. No compromises. Rhea felt a flicker of something she didn't want to name. Respect, maybe, or curiosity. All right, Laurent, she said. You asked for it. I'll send a quote. And Rhea, Isabelle added. Yeah? I'm not very good at thanking people, but I am trying. Rhea stared at the gleaming engine bay, suddenly aware that this job was going to pull her further into a world she'd sworn she didn't need. Then start by showing up when I tell you to, she said. Engines don't lie. People can try. Isabelle showed up 3 days later in the middle of the afternoon, stepping into the shop like she expected it to reject her. Rhea was under a different car, boots sticking out, a wrench braced against a stubborn bolt. She felt the shift in air before she saw anything. Careful, she called. Floor's not used to shoes that cost more than my rent. Isabelle's laugh was short but genuine. You can tell how much they cost just by listening. I can tell those heels haven't seen a sidewalk pothole in their life. Rhea slid out and shielded her eyes from the sunlight haloing Isabelle. You're early. You said you needed signatures. Isabelle held up a folder. And you didn't answer your email. Rhea made a face. Emails for receipts and extended warranty scams. I'm a call me or show up kind of woman. Noted. Isabelle looked around, taking in the exposed beams, the chaotic pegboards, the half-finished projects. This is different. From boardrooms and catered lunches? Yeah. Rhea stood and wiped her hands. You allergic to dust? Not yet, Isabelle said, though my assistant looked horrified when I told her where I was going. Good, she has taste. Rhea grabbed the folder. Come on, princess. Let's go talk about the ways your car has been wronged. Isabelle's eyes flashed. Don't call me that. Rhea paused. What, princess? Yes. Isabelle squared her shoulders. I get heiress, rich girl, ice queen. I don't need another nickname that assumes I've never worked a day in my life. Rhea blinked. Do you work? Isabelle's mouth twitched. You really are immune to impressing, aren't you? I run the urban development branch of Laurent Group. Housing, transit, zoning, the unglamorous things that keep your city from collapsing. Rhea studied her, recalibrating. Huh. That's it? Isabelle asked. Just huh? I thought you just posed for magazines and scared interns, Rhea admitted. I do scare interns, Isabelle said. But I also spend 12-hour days in meetings that make me want to fling myself out the window. So no, I am not a princess. Rhea's lips tilted. Okay. Okay, Isabelle repeated. Okay, Rhea said. Then you're not a princess. You're my client who abuses perfectly good V12s. A reluctant smile broke through Isabelle's irritation. That I probably deserve. They settled in Rhea's cramped office, the only place in the building with both a functioning door and a coffee machine. Rhea spread diagrams and parts lists across the desk. Isabelle sat opposite, posture perfect, eyes sharp. So, Rhea said, tapping a schematic. We start with the internals. Whoever tuned her last wanted power fast, not power. That lasts. Pistons, rods, bearings. Everything needs inspection. Some of it needs replacing. Can you talk to me like I'm not on a race team? Isabelle asked. I understand systems, but not engines. Sure, Rhea leaned back. Your car has a heart. Someone fed it pure sugar and told it to run marathons. I'm putting it on a real diet so it can run without collapsing. That I understand. Isabelle's fingers brushed the edge of the paper. How long will it take? Depends if she screams when I open her up. Rhea shrugged. A few weeks. Could be more. Isabelle exhaled. I have a gala in 6 weeks. I wanted to bring her there. My father? She stopped herself. Your father what? Rhea prompted. Isabelle gave a small, tight smile. My father thinks I'm frivolous. The car was my way of saying I could buy something purely because I wanted it. And now? Rhea asked. And now I want it to be mine, Isabelle said simply. Not his gift, not a trophy. Mine. something that runs because I took care of it. Rhea watched her. The words landed somewhere deep in her chest, echoing. This isn't exactly my world, Isabelle admitted, glancing through the greasy window at the shop floor. But maybe I needed a reason to be here. Rhea's throat went dry for half a second. Then let me show you why it's mine. Isabelle's gaze snapped back to her, and the air shifted, charged, unspoken. Rhea cleared her throat. You want to see what I'm fixing, or are you just here to sign and vanish back to your glass tower? I'll stay, Isabelle said, surprising them both. At least for a while, if that's allowed. Engines don't mind an audience, Rhea said. People, on the other hand. Isabelle's smile turned wry. Then I'll try not to get in the way. The days fell into a pattern neither of them admitted out loud. Isabelle would appear after meetings, still in her tailored armor, but with the sharp edges worn down by the day. She'd stand near the workbench at first, careful not to touch anything, then closer as she grew braver. Rhea would work, gloves on, tools singing, sleeves rolled, and narrate only when Isabelle asked. Why that one? Isabelle asked one Tuesday, leaning over the engine stand as Rhea inspected a piston. It scored. Rhea held it out. See the lines? Isabelle's fingers brushed close to Rhea's as she reached. That's bad? It means someone pushed her too hard without the right support, Rhea said. Heat built up. Little failures, over and over, until the metal finally spoke up. Isabelle traced the marks, jaw tight. Engines never lie. Exactly. Rhea studied her. You okay? Isabelle set the piston down carefully. I had a board meeting today. They want to tear down 2 old blocks in Southside, put up luxury condos. And you don't? Rhea guessed. Those blocks are ugly, Isabelle said. But they're home to families who can't afford anything else. We promised affordable units in the new development. Today my father called that sentimental charity. Rhea's chest tightened. He's the one who owns half the city. He told me, if you want to fix things, Isabelle, do it with margins, not emotions. Her mouth twisted bitterly. Engines never lie. People do. Yeah, Rhea wiped her hands. Metal tells you where it hurts. People tell you where they want you to look. Isabelle looked at her. You don't treat me like everyone else does. Rhea shrugged. I see the woman, not the fortune. Silence fell. Heavy, electric. Rhea looked away first, picking up another piston. This one might be salvageable. The others are done. Isabelle's voice had gone quieter. Do you always assume everyone with money is like him? Not always, Rhea said, but 9 times out of 10, the shoe fits. And what if I don't want his shoes? Isabelle asked. Rhea glanced at her, catching something raw in her eyes. Then stop walking his path. That's not how it works, Isabelle said. In my world, there are expectations, lines you don't cross. Lines are just paint on the road, Rhea replied. You can still turn. Isabelle smiled, small and sad. It's never that simple. Neither is rebuilding an engine from scratch, Rhea said. But I'm doing it anyway. Rain drummed on the tin roof a week later, a relentless percussion that turned the shop into its own cocoon. Isabelle arrived with damp hair and a jacket that probably cost more than Rhea's entire toolbox. She looked tired in a way that makeup couldn't fix. You look like someone stole your parking spot, Rhea said, passing her a chipped mug of coffee. Isabelle wrapped her hands around it like she needed the warmth. My father offered to buy this place. Rhea stiffened. What? He said it's a waste of prime industrial land. He wants to turn this block into a mixed-use complex. Artisanal retail, rooftop gardens, the usual marketing language. Isabelle took a sip, grimacing at the bitterness but drinking anyway. He wants to present an offer at the next council meeting. Rhea laughed once, harsh and disbelieving. That's cute. He think I'm gonna roll over because he waves a check at me? He thinks everyone will, Isabelle met her gaze. I told him no. Rhea froze. You what? I told him this shop is a community asset, Isabelle said. That it provides jobs, training, that the city needs spaces that aren't sanitized and polished within an inch of their life. And he said, Rhea braced herself. He said I was letting my personal hobby get in the way of profit, Isabelle replied. I didn't correct him when he assumed the car was just about image. I let him underestimate me because it gave me leverage. Rhea stared at her. The woman who'd walked in with a ridiculously expensive car, was not the same woman now standing up to a man who could level city blocks. "You didn't have to do that," Rhea said quietly. "I know." Isabelle's fingers tightened around the mug. "But I wanted to. I wanted something in this city not to belong to him." "Everything belongs to someone," Rhea muttered. "I didn't say I wanted to own it." Isabelle's gaze flicked around the shop, Marco arguing with a supplier in the corner, old flyers pinned to the corkboard, the hand-painted sign from their late father over the tool chest. "I just don't want to see it erased," Rhea swallowed. "You're full of surprises, Laurent." "You're not the only one," Isabelle set the mug down. "What can I do to help?" Rhea snorted. "Can you convince Russ to go back in time and uneat metal?" "Sadly, no." "Then just keep showing up," Rhea said. "Engines listen when the people who care about them stick around." Isabelle's lips curved. "You really treat them like people." "Because people treat them like mirrors," Rhea said. "They buy what they think will make them feel something. Power, freedom, control." "And what do you think I bought?" Isabelle asked. Rhea hesitated, then answered honestly. "A way out." Isabelle exhaled like Rhea had knocked the air out of her. "I didn't think anyone could see that." "I make a living seeing what people don't say." Rhea picked up a torque wrench. "Come on, help me hold this. You said you wanted to learn." Under the hood, the world shrank to metal and heat, and the steady rhythm of their breathing. "Here," Rhea said, guiding Isabelle's hands to the wrench. Their fingers brushed, sending a spark up Rhea's arm she stubbornly ignored. "Steady pressure, no jerking. You're trying to convince the bolt, not pick a fight with it." "Convince the bolt," Isabelle repeated softly. "Got it." Rhea watched her work, surprised at the focus in her expression. Most rich clients took photos and left. Isabelle was sweating over head studs. "You're good at this," Rhea said. "I'm good at control," Isabelle replied. "Engines are honest about it. In my world, control is all about pretending." "You say that like you're not the one holding the leash," Rhea said. Isabelle's jaw tightened. "The leash is made of obligations, contracts, family legacy. If I drop it, the city bleeds." Rhea opened her mouth, closed it again. Some problems couldn't be fixed with a new gasket. "You ever think about walking away?" Rhea asked instead. "Every day," Isabelle answered too quickly. "And every day I make a different choice." "Why?" Isabelle hesitated. "Because if I leave, he wins. And the people who live in the buildings we built, they lose. I'm the only thing between them and my father's worst instincts." Rhea studied her. "Sounds lonely." The wrench clicked. Isabelle exhaled. "It is." Rhea reached around her to grab another tool, intentionally brushing Isabelle's shoulder. "You're not the only one holding things together, you know." "Feels that way sometimes," Isabelle said. "Welcome to the club," Rhea replied. "Membership perks include insomnia and too much caffeine." Isabelle smiled, eyes warm. "At least the company's improving." The first time Rhea saw Isabelle outside of the shop, she almost didn't recognize her. The community hearing about the proposed redevelopment packed the municipal hall. Rhea came straight from work, grease under her nails, hair in a messy braid, borrowed blazer failing to hide the oil stain on her shirt. She was halfway down the aisle when she saw Isabelle at the front, standing behind a lectern, flanked by sleek slides and the Laurent logo on a screen. Tailored suit, flawless hair, expression like carved marble. Rhea's stomach dropped. This is her world. Isabelle spoke with calm authority, outlining transit improvements, affordable housing targets, infrastructure reinforcements. The crowd listened, skeptical but alert. "And what about the auto shop on 3rd?" someone shouted from the audience. "You gonna bulldoze that too?" All eyes rose, scanning. Rhea crossed her arms, daring anyone to look away first. Isabelle's gaze found her. For a split second, something unguarded flashed across Isabelle's face. Surprise, relief, fear, before the mask slid back into place. "That shop," Isabelle said into the microphone, voice steady, "is under consideration for heritage designation as a community asset. We're revising our proposal to protect it." Murmurs rippled through the room. Rhea's heart stuttered. Heritage designation. That had never come up in their conversations. A council member leaned forward. "Ms. Laurent, that's a change from the original plan your father submitted." "It is," Isabelle said, "because the original plan was incomplete. We cannot keep building a city that only certain people can afford to exist in. We need spaces that anchor history, culture, trades. That shop trains young mechanics, provides affordable services, and is part of the neighborhood's identity. The words hit Rhea harder than she expected. Engines never lie. What about the woman defending her home in front of the people who signed her paycheck? Isabelle continued, fielding questions with stone-cold poise. When it ended, the hall buzzed with conversation. Rhea waited near the exit. Isabelle emerged in a sea of suits and officials. When she saw Rhea, she veered away from the cluster like it was instinct. "You came," Isabelle said, breathless in a way that had nothing to do with walking. "I had to see if you sold me out," Rhea replied. "And did I?" Isabelle asked. Rhea shook her head slowly. "You did the opposite." "I meant what I said," Isabelle said. "About the shop, about the city." "And your father?" Rhea asked. Isabelle's jaw flexed. "He'll be furious." "And you still did it anyway?" "For once," Isabelle said quietly, "I chose the city over him before he asked me to choose him over the city." Rhea's chest ached. "That's a big line to cross." "Maybe it was already cracked," Isabelle replied. "You just made me see it." They walked side by side into the cool night, city lights smearing color across wet sidewalks. "Want a ride?" Isabelle asked, nodding toward the sleek black sedan idling at the curb. "Not if it screams boardroom hostage," Rhea said. "I've got my truck." She jerked her thumb at the battered pickup across the street. Its paint faded and bumper dented. Isabelle smiled. "Of course you do." "Hey," Rhea said defensively. "She may not be pretty, but she's loyal." "I wasn't judging," Isabelle replied. "Just observing." They stopped near the crosswalk, waiting for the light. "You were different in there," Rhea said, jerking her chin back toward the building. "Colder, sharper." "That's who they listen to," Isabelle said. "If I soften, they pounce. If I stumble, they devour. So I stay sharp." "And with me?" Rhea asked. Isabelle hesitated. "With you? I forget I'm supposed to be terrifying." Rhea's throat went tight. "You're not terrifying." "I am to the people who work for my father," Isabelle said. "And sometimes to myself." The light changed. They crossed slowly. "Why did you really bring the car to my shop?" Rhea asked. "There are closer places, flashier ones. Ones that probably serve cocktails while they overcharge you." "Because you don't lie to engines," Isabelle replied. "And I thought, maybe you wouldn't lie to me either." Rhea glanced at her. "You know that's a dangerous gamble, right?" "I've made worse," Isabelle said. "At least this one has an honest mechanic attached to it." "Flattery will get you." "More coffee," Rhea said. "Maybe." Isabelle bumped her shoulder lightly. "Is that your version of generosity?" "It's my version of not running away," Rhea answered. They reached the corner where their paths split. Isabelle's car, Rhea's truck, two different trajectories. Isabelle stopped. "Rhea?" "Yeah?" "I don't usually thank people," Isabelle said. "It feels like admitting weakness in my world, but tonight feels different." Rhea's pulse kicked. "Because of the hearing?" "Because of you," Isabelle said simply. "You reminded me there are things worth fighting for that don't have a profit margin." Rhea swallowed. The urge to step closer warred with the sense that once she crossed that invisible line, nothing between them would stay the same. "Engines tell you what they need," Rhea said softly. "People, we mostly just hope someone hears us anyway." For a heartbeat, Isabelle looked like she was going to say something else. Then she stepped back. "Good night, Rhea," she said. "Night, Laurent." They parted, both pretending they hadn't just walked away from something they'd wanted to hold on to a little longer. The next few weeks blurred. In the shop, the Laurent car slowly became something new, stronger, truer. Rhea replaced cheap parts with the good stuff, tuned the engine for balance instead of bragging rights, rewired sloppy jobs with patient precision. Isabelle kept showing up. Sometimes she came straight from work, heels dangling from one hand, bare feet on the cool concrete floor. Sometimes she arrived early and watched the sunrise through the shop's front windows, while Rhea finished an overnight job. Marco finally cornered Rhea in the break room one afternoon. "You sleeping at all?" he asked, shoving a sandwich into her hands. "Or are you running on pure horsepower now?" "Engines are easier than people," Rhea said, taking a bite. "Uh-huh." He leaned against the counter. "So, the rich girl with the fancy car." Rhea rolled her eyes. "Don't start." I'm not starting, I'm observing, Marco said. She's here a lot, and she looks at you like, don't, Rhea warned. Like you're the only thing in this fire trap that makes sense, he finished. Rhea stared at the chipped tile. She's a client. Right, Marco said dryly. Because you always let clients hold the flashlight that close to your face. Rhea shoved his shoulder. We're friends, maybe. I don't know what to call it. Try complicated, Marco suggested. You like those. She lives in a different world, Rhea muttered. She has a driver, for God's sake. Her watch probably costs more than my truck. And, Marco asked, last I checked, your type was breathing and stubborn. She seems like both. Rhea didn't answer. Just, Marco's voice softened. Be careful, Hermana. People like that, they don't always get to choose their own endings. Their families write them. I know, Rhea said. That's why I'm not doing anything. Yeah? Marco asked gently. Tell that to your face when she walks in. Isabelle walked in 20 minutes later. Her hair was down for once, curling a little from the humidity, blazer draped over her arm. Without the armor of a full suit, she looked oddly younger, more human. Hey, Rhea called. You're just in time to witness history. I'm starting her up. Isabelle's eyes widened. She's ready? Almost. Rhea wiped her hands. We did the hard part. Now we see if she forgives you. They moved to the front of the car. Isabelle's fingers trembled slightly on the key. You do it, she said, handing it to Rhea. You sure? Rhea asked. If she's going to hate someone, better it be the woman who fixed her than the one who broke her, Isabelle said. Rhea took the key, slid into the driver's seat. Isabelle moved around to stand near the front, hands clasped like she was praying. Rhea turned the key. The engine caught, then roared to life with a smooth, rich note that vibrated through the floor. No rattles, no stutters. Power, leashed and patient. Isabelle's face lit up. Rhea watched the gauges, listening with every part of her body. The idle settled into a strong, confident hum. She shut it off and stepped out. She's back, Isabelle's eyes shone. You did it. We did it, Rhea corrected. You were here. You held wrenches. You cursed at bolts. That counts. Isabelle laughed, genuine and bright. I have never been so proud of anything that smells like gasoline. Careful, Rhea said. That's how it starts. How what starts? Isabelle asked. Falling in love with things that can't love you back, Rhea said lightly. Isabelle's smile faded into something softer. Are cars the only things you think that about? Rhea swallowed. Most days. Maybe you've just been looking at the wrong engines, Isabelle said quietly. Rhea's heartbeat stuttered. The air between them felt charged, dense with all the things they'd avoided saying. Test drive, Rhea croaked. Isabelle nodded. Test drive. Night wrapped around the city like a velvet cloak as they drove. Rhea sat behind the wheel, Isabelle in the passenger seat. The world reduced to the purr of the engine and the glow of streetlights sliding over the hood. You drive like you built her, Isabelle said. I practically did, Rhea replied. Listen. She eased onto the freeway, letting the revs climb, then shift. The engine responded smoothly, eager but controlled. She feels alive, Isabelle whispered. Because she is. Rhea smiled. You can tell when it's right. Everything moves together, no one part trying to prove something. That's not how my world works, Isabelle said. Every part is trying to prove something. You don't have to, Rhea said. Don't have to what? Isabelle asked. Prove anything to me. Silence pooled between them. I don't know how not to, Isabelle admitted. My whole life has been performance. Numbers, reports, wearing the right clothes, saying the right things, watching my father's reaction. You ever get tired of hearing his voice in your head? Rhea asked. Constantly, Isabelle said. And recently, it's being joined by another one. Rhea glanced at her. Whose? Yours, Isabelle said. Rhea's hands tightened on the wheel. Pretty sure my voice is mostly sarcasm and complaints about cheap parts. And the occasional truth bomb, Isabelle added. Like telling me I'm allowed to want something just because I want it. You are, Rhea said. You always were. But I didn't believe it until you said it, Isabelle replied. Rhea took the next exit without thinking, instincts guiding her to the old waterfront. She parked near the pier, engine ticking as it cooled. You want to drive? She asked. Isabelle's eyes widened. Me? She's yours, Rhea said. Time you prove it to her. They swapped seats, the car rocking slightly, as they slid past each other in the narrow space. Suddenly, they were too close. Rhea could see the individual flecks of gold in Isabelle's eyes, the faint scar near her jawline, barely visible under careful makeup, a tiny freckle at the corner of her mouth. She realized she was staring and jerked back, heart kicking. "Okay," she said, a little too loudly. Seat adjusted, mirrors, pedals. "Don't baby her, but don't be an idiot either." Isabelle's laughter trembled. "Clear instructions." She started the engine, gripping the wheel more tightly than necessary, then eased them back onto the empty road. "You're doing fine," Rhea said. "You don't have to impress me." "I'm not trying to impress you," Isabelle said. "Then why are your shoulders up by your ears?" Rhea asked gently. Isabelle exhaled, dropping them. "Because I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop." "With me?" Rhea frowned. "What did I do?" "Nothing," Isabelle said quickly. "You keep showing up. You keep telling me the truth, even when it stings. You saved my car, protected my shop, stood up to your father. That's a long list." "And that's bad because," Rhea prompted. "Because I don't know what to do with it," Isabelle said. "Because it feels like something I'm not allowed to have." Rhea's chest tightened. "What do you think it is?" The car rolled to a stop at a deserted intersection. Red light, empty cross streets, the city holding its breath. Isabelle turned to her, vulnerability naked in her eyes. Something more than gratitude. Rhea's heart stuttered. "Isabelle." "I know," Isabelle whispered. "Lines, worlds, consequences. My father would—" "Your father isn't in this car," Rhea said sharply. "He doesn't get to sit between us." Isabelle's gaze dropped to Rhea's mouth, then back up. "I never thought I'd feel this way," Isabelle said quietly. "Not here, not tonight, not with you." Rhea leaned in, just enough that she could feel Isabelle's breath on her lips. The urge to close the distance was a tidal wave. "Say it," Rhea murmured. Isabelle's voice shook. "I think I'm falling in love with you." The light turned green. They didn't move. Rhea closed the last inch, kissing her like the city had fallen away and only steel and heartbeat mattered. The kiss was soft at first, a hesitant question. Isabelle's hand found Rhea's cheek, fingers trembling against oil-roughened skin. Rhea cupped the back of Isabelle's neck, holding her like something precious and fragile, despite knowing the woman in her arms was anything but. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Isabelle let out a shaky laugh. "That was reckless," she said. "You regret it?" Rhea asked, hating how small her voice sounded. Isabelle shook her head firmly. "No, I'm just cataloging the inevitable fallout." "Don't," Rhea said. "Not yet, just be here, with me." "I am," Isabelle said. "That's what scares me." Rhea brushed a thumb over her lower lip, wiping a smear of lipstick. "I thought you weren't scared of anything." "Only losing everything I've built," Isabelle said, "and losing the people I care about." "You care about me?" Rhea teased, though her chest felt too full. Isabelle rolled her eyes, cheeks flushed. "I just kissed you, Martinez. Keep up." Rhea grinned, relief flooding through her. "Fair point." They sat there for a minute, the engine idling, night wrapped close. "What now?" Isabelle asked. "Now we drive," Rhea said. "We see what she can do, and we decide what to tell the people who think they own us." "You make it sound so simple," Isabelle said. "It's not," Rhea replied. "But simple and easy aren't the same thing." Reality crashed back in the next morning when news broke. "Heiress defies patriarch at city hearing," the headline blared on Rhea's phone. A grainy photo of Isabelle at the lectern, eyes blazing, dominated the screen. Marco whistled low. "Your girl made waves." "She's not," Rhea stopped. "She didn't ask for this." "She knew cameras would be there," Marco pointed out. "Laurent doesn't sneeze without press coverage." "Yeah, but she didn't know they'd spin it like a civil war," Rhea said, scrolling. Comments, speculation, more headlines. Her phone buzzed with an incoming call. Isabelle. "Hey," Rhea answered. "You okay?" "Define okay," Isabelle said. Her voice was clipped, too controlled. "I've had 4 interview requests, 3 board members demanding explanations, and my father's lawyer wants a meeting." Rhea swore. "Is there anything I can do?" Isabelle hesitated. "Just don't push me away when this gets complicated." Rhea leaned against the workbench. That's not my style. You say that now, Isabelle said. Wait until reporters start sniffing around your shop, asking why I spend so much time there. Let them, Rhea said. I fix cars, that's not a scandal. In their world, everything is a scandal if it sells ads, Isabelle replied. You gonna run? Rhea asked. No, Isabelle said. For once, I'm not running. I'm tired of designing a life I don't get to live. Rhea's chest tightened. Then I'm here, however you need. For a moment, Isabelle's voice softened. That's the most dangerous thing you've ever said to me. The first reporter showed up 2 days later. She appeared at the bay door with a camera operator in tow. Hair perfectly windproof, smile like a sharpened knife. Ms. Martinez, she called. Rhea didn't look up from the engine she was working on. Shop's name is on the sign. If you need your brakes done, you're late. We're booked for 3 weeks. I'm here about your relationship with Isabelle Laurent, the woman said smoothly. We've heard she's been spending quite a bit of time here. Rhea straightened slowly, eyes narrowing. Who gave you permission to film in my shop? The cameraman faltered. Out, Rhea snapped. Before I introduce your camera to the floor, the hard way. This is a public interest piece, the reporter said, still smiling. Your work with Ms. Laurent could be... It's Ms. Laurent's car, not your business, Rhea interrupted. And this is private property. The reporter's gaze sharpened. Are you denying that Ms. Laurent has been protecting this shop from redevelopment because of a personal relationship with you? I'm denying you the right to stand here and harass my employees, Rhea said. Get out. The camera swung toward her, red light glowing. Rhea didn't think, just reached out and covered the lens with her grease-stained hand. Turn it off, she said calmly. Before I turn it into modern art. They left after that, muttering about hostile locals. Rhea's hands shook for a full 10 minutes afterward. Her phone buzzed. Isabelle again. I'm sorry, Isabelle said before Rhea could speak. They went to your shop, didn't they? You didn't send them, Rhea said. That's what matters. My father is trying to spin this as a rogue emotional phase, Isabelle said bitterly. He wants me to issue a statement, deny everything, promise to correct course. And are you? Rhea asked quietly. In the meeting, Isabelle said, he asked me if I was having an affair with some grease monkey trying to hitch a free ride. Rhea's stomach twisted. What did you say? I told him my personal life was none of his business, Isabelle replied, and that this city needed more people who actually worked with their hands, not more speculative condos. Rhea exhaled. You realize you just made yourself his favorite person. Isabelle laughed grimly. I was already his disappointment. This just gave him new vocabulary. You sure you can handle this? Rhea asked. Because I don't want you burning your whole life down for you, Isabelle finished softly. That's not what this is. Rhea's chest clenched. Then what is it? It's me finally refusing to let him dictate who I'm allowed to love, Isabelle said. The world went very quiet. Say that again, Rhea whispered. I love you, Isabelle said. And I'm done pretending I don't. They didn't see each other for 3 days after that. Meetings, crisis management, board votes. Isabelle was swallowed whole by the machine her family had built. Rhea watched from the sidelines. Every notification from the news app a punch and a pull. Stop doom scrolling, Marco said, snatching the phone out of her hand. You're wearing a groove in the concrete. I should be there, Rhea muttered. Or she should be here. The fact that she's not means she's busy fighting bigger monsters than crankshafts, Marco said. Let her do her part. You do yours. What's my part? Rhea demanded. He gestured around. Keeping the lights on. Being here when she needs somewhere that doesn't smell like fear and expensive perfume. Rhea managed a weak smile. You're getting poetic in your old age. Shut up and hand me the 10mm, he said. On the 4th night, the bay door rattled after closing time. Rhea opened it to find Isabelle standing outside, hair disheveled, eyeliner smudged, heels in her hand. Her suit jacket was slung over one shoulder, blouse wrinkled like she'd been wearing it for days. You look like you lost a war, Rhea said. Maybe I won a small battle, Isabelle replied hoarsely. Can I come in? Always, Rhea said. Isabelle stepped into the familiar scent of oil and metal and Rhea, and something in her posture sagged. What happened? Rhea asked, closing the door behind her. We had an emergency board meeting, Isabelle said. My father tried to remove me as head of urban development, said I was compromised. Rhea's hands curled into fists. He can't do that. He can, Isabelle said. But the board has to agree. And did they? Rhea asked. Half did, Isabelle said. Half didn't. Rhea blinked. You still have your job? For now, Isabelle said, on the condition that I restore investor confidence and demonstrate my commitment to Laurent values. Which means what? Rhea asked. Which means they want me to sell you out, Isabelle said bluntly. Drop the heritage designation, push through the redevelopment, prove I'm not letting sentiment cloud my judgment. And if you don't, Rhea pressed. I lose my position, Isabelle said, and my father will make sure no one in this city hires me again. The silence between them felt like a cliff edge. So, Rhea said slowly, that's your line? Me or the job? Isabelle looked at her with eyes too bright. It's not that simple. It is, Rhea said. They made it that simple. Isabelle swallowed. If I walk away, who protects the people who live in the buildings we build? Who stops my father from turning half the city into luxury showpieces? If you stay and become him, what's the difference? Rhea countered. I would never. You already know where this road goes, Rhea cut in. You just told me they want proof you can be like him. That's the cost of staying, Isabelle's voice cracked. What are you asking me to do? Nothing, Rhea said. I'm asking you to decide what you can live with. And what if I can't live without you? Isabelle whispered. Rhea stepped closer, cupping her face. Then don't choose the life that requires it. They sat on the shop floor, backs against a tool chest, legs stretched out, the Laurent car a shadowed presence beside them. I've spent my whole life being told what my legacy will be, Isabelle said. Laurent Group, expansion, profit, stability. Stability for who? Rhea asked. For investors, Isabelle said. For the people who can afford the condos. For my family name. And what do you want your legacy to be? Rhea asked. Something smaller, Isabelle said. More honest. A city where a mechanic doesn't have to wonder if her shop will be turned into a juice bar. Where a girl like me isn't a headline because she defended a piece of it. That's not small, Rhea said. That's huge. It feels selfish, Isabelle admitted. Choosing love over duty. Love is a duty, Rhea said quietly. To yourself. To the people it touches. Isabelle rested her head on Rhea's shoulder. You make it sound so straightforward. Because I don't have a board breathing down my neck, Rhea said. I have rent, payroll, and a brother who eats like a trash compactor. My stakes are different, not smaller. What did you give up to keep this place? Isabelle asked. A scholarship, Rhea said. Full ride to an engineering program out of state. I stayed when our dad got sick. Helped run the shop. Watched the acceptance letter turn yellow on the fridge. Do you regret it? Isabelle asked softly. Sometimes, Rhea said. When the compressor breaks, and I'm wondering how we're paying for it. But then a kid comes in, eyes lighting up because we're teaching her how to rebuild her first engine. And I think, this is a kind of engineering too. Just more grease, less prestige. You chose your own legacy, Isabelle murmured. Yeah, Rhea said. Now it's your turn. The announcement came a week later. Laurent Heiress resigns, launches independent urban initiative, the headline screamed. Rhea stared at her phone, heart pounding, as she read the statement. Effective immediately, Isabelle Laurent would be stepping down from her position at Laurent Group. She would be forming a new organization focusing on community-led development, equitable housing, and preservation of neighborhood culture. At the bottom, a single line stood out. Cities belong to the people who live in them, not the ones who merely profit from them. Marco whistled. Damn, she really did it. Rhea's hands shook as she dialed Isabelle's number. I was going to come see you first, Isabelle said. By way of greeting, her voice sounded exhausted but lighter. I saw, Rhea said. You really walked away. I didn't walk, Isabelle said. I jumped. They were lining up to push. I beat them to it. Are you okay? Rhea asked. I'm terrified, Isabelle said. And weirdly, alive. Like someone finally took their hands off my throat. Rhea's eyes burned. The shop? Protected, Isabelle said. We rushed the heritage designation through before I resigned. They can't touch you without a public fight they don't want to have. Rhea exhaled shakily. You did that before you left? I wasn't leaving you hanging, Isabelle said. If this all blows up in my face, I wanted you safe. What about you? Rhea asked. I've got savings, Isabelle said. Contacts. Some board members who secretly hated my father more than they loved their jobs. And I have you, if you still want me. Rhea laughed through the lump in her throat. I fell for you when you were standing behind glass walls. I'm not going to bail now that you're finally on my side of the street. Months later, the shop felt different. Not because of new equipment or fresh paint, but because of the woman sitting on the workbench, laughing with Marco while Rhea tuned an engine. Isabelle wore jeans now, old ones, soft with wear, oil smear on her thigh. Her hair was tied back with a bandana Rhea had tossed at her that first week after the jump. She still moved with the same graceful precision, but the perpetual tightness around her mouth had softened. Her new office, such as it was a shared desk in the corner, covered in community survey forms and hand-drawn maps of future projects. The organization she'd founded was small but stubborn, working with neighborhoods instead of against them. So what do we call this one? Isabelle asked, nodding at the car on the lift. An honest day's work, Rhea said. She just needs new breaks and a reminder to be kind to herself. I know someone like that, Isabelle replied, sliding off the bench. She crossed the floor, weaving around tool carts and hoses with the ease of someone who belonged. When she reached Rhea, she slipped her arms around her waist from behind, chin on her shoulder. Careful, Rhea said. You're gonna get oil on your… Isabelle kissed her neck. Clothes wash. You, Ms. Laurent, are a menace, Rhea said, unable to keep the smile out of her voice. Not Ms. Laurent anymore, Isabelle murmured. Just Isabelle. Just Isabelle, Rhea corrected. The woman who chose a messy, honest life over a polished, hollow one. And the mechanic who made me see it was possible, Isabelle added. Rhea set down the wrench and turned in her arms, resting her forehead against Isabelle's. Engines never lie, she said softly, but people can learn to stop lying to themselves. Isabelle's eyes shone. We crossed a lot of lines to get here. Good, Rhea said. Lines needed crossing. People will talk, Isabelle warned. Let them, Rhea replied. They always do, but they weren't there when you fought for this shop. They didn't hear you tell your father no. They didn't sit in that car with you when you said you loved me. Isabelle smiled, radiant and real. You remember the exact words. I'm a mechanic, Rhea said. I remember the moments that change the way an engine sounds, and the ones that change the way a heart beats. Outside, the city hummed. Imperfect, sprawling, alive. Inside the shop, between steel and grease and shared laughter, two women stood at the intersection of the lives they'd been handed and the lives they'd chosen. A love story that crossed boundaries, had finally found its home. And somewhere under the hood of a very expensive car, an engine purred its simple, honest approval. The end. If you enjoyed this sapphic love story, hit like, drop a comment about your favorite moment, and subscribe for more WLW romances. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next late-night, heart-wrecking love story.